Did they just reveal who's buried in the garden? Or are you playing with me, NBC? Y'all, this episode of Grosse Point Garden Society has to be my favorite, hands down. So, one of the things that comes up is Catherine and her husband. We learn that he's not really over the fact that she cheated on him, and she finds out by way of him having cameras hidden in the smoke detectors. Y'all, he knew that she was cheating on him the whole time. But just when you think this might derail the relationship, she actually found a way to use it to her advantage and the relationship's advantage by doing a little, a little strip tease on a camera. So he gets to watch her at work. And it ends up getting them back to a space where they can find intimacy again in something that is seen as maybe like crossing a boundary, but then turning it into voyeurism and maybe exploring some new fancy and sexy things within their relationships. Speaking of relationships, Birdie, what are you doing with Joel? And girl, you are playing a dangerous game. Do you want your son to actually lead a very productive life, or do you want to blow everything else out of proportion? Now, I'm not necessarily saying it's Birdie's fault, because Joel, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? But honestly, him attempting and thinking about stepping out might have something to do with his wife telling him that he's not the father in the first place. And I was just like, you not the mama either, but okay, girl. Then we have Brett and Alice. Brett is finally on the apps, y'all. He is on the apps. He is here. He is blowing Alice in their time off for booty calls and meeting some people. He actually doubled back on a date, which turns Alice jealous. Even her husband is like, girl, what are you tripping about? To the point where Alice brings it up with Brett, and he's like, girl, listen, if you got a problem with anything, how about you go talk to your husband and stop talking to me, because you literally treat me like your emotional support human, and I cannot take that anymore. The biggest thing about this episode is that we spend more time 6 months in the future trying to figure out like who died, and we're getting a lot of information and a lot of series of events that will point the finger into a very specific direction. But honestly, I think they misleading us, y'all. Will we find out who's buried in the garden by the end of the season? I hope not. Make sure y'all tune in every Sunday, 10, 9 Central, only on NBC.